Hello, my name is Jessica, and today we will be talking about and learning more about augmentative communication. Augmentative communication is devices that provide a child or youth the ability to speak even though they don't have the ability to do so on their own. So, an introduction to augmentative communication is that it is very important to implement the devices early on, as it gives a better opportunity for a child to learn how to use it. Children are more susceptible to learn when they are younger rather than trying to change something that may already be working later on when they are older. This was talked about in the article Assistive Technology and Augmentative and Alternative Communication by Pennsylvania Early Intervention. This article also states that it improves the ability of communication for the children and youth. There are many forms of communication devices, but the main form that you see a lot of young people using is a computer or tablet. Some kids have the use of their arms, at which they can use the tablets or an iPad and just touch the screen and click on an icon for it to speak out for them. Some people don't have the ability to control their arm movements, so they need the use of the computer and add on devices to help them to select the icon in which they want to say. By using these devices, they allow for the young person to be more independent and give them a voice. A child and youth can they say how they feel and say what they want to do. Without the device, they would not have been able to do so. They also give the young person a sense of normality in their life and a sense of control. They can control what is said and can control what they do on a daily life than they would without the device. Some possible solutions and alternatives that may already be out there. There are a few different organizations that supply the same services as our organization. One specifically is the Thames Valley Children's Centre here in London, Ontario. They also provide the assessment that a child needs to go through. TVCC provides their services up until 18 years of age. They do a great job with their services and how they handle their clients, but it's not fair to the clients that they either get dropped or handed off to another organization that doesn't know them, and then they feel they are having to start over again. Our agency is superior in this sense that we follow our clients for their lifetime. We realize that they need stability in their lives, and if we can help them and provide them what they need, then that is what we will do. We can provide them with additional devices or switches that they may need. We will always be there with them in case something changes for the young person and needs to be reassessed. We can do that. We are there for these young people. The establishing criteria that is being assessed is that there are barriers that can be overcome. So these are problems that affect the child or youth's ability in having a positive experience with the augmentative communication device. It also has to do with the issues affecting the chances of a child or youth in succeeding with the device. These are all barriers that a child and youth can overcome. Assessment process. So this is the process and the steps taken in order to have a chance at trying the communication device and also to be assessed on what device works best for the child or youth and does it work. So a child or youth and their families would want to know if this product works. They are going to look into this online. They will do their research before coming to any agency to try the device. As an agency, we need to make sure we give them the best experience and help them with any questions that they have. So evaluation, barriers to overcome. A lot of people who do the assessment tend to think it is one-size-fits-all perspective. People don't realize that it takes time and effort to assess an individual and make sure that the device is right for them. It takes a lot of trial and error. two major elements that get affected during the assessment process. So the first one is less comprehensive assessment of an individual's needs, and the second is the lack of team support. Both are equally important because without the team leadership and support, you will have a less comprehensive assessment of that individual, and the person doing the assessment won't be getting the correct information to best help the family and individual. Some solutions that have been talked about in an article by Copley and Ziavani are training and support and assessment and implementation of technology plans. The team doing the assessment need to get clear information from the child or youth and their families as to who the individual is and what they feel would best suit their son or daughter. With this information, the team needs to implement a plan right away so that the child or youth can try it out, and then the team can go from that assessment. The team also needs to stick with the individual and see them every week, if necessary, to make sure everything is still going okay. And if things aren't working out, then they can try something else that may work better. This is where the trial and error perspective comes into play. Again, evaluation, so the assessment process. There is a range of results that are grouped into two areas. One is training and support, and the other is the assessment and implementation of technology plans. This specifically is very important for families and people doing the assessment to realize you need to give proper training to the families so they feel competent to be able to use the device on their own. They also need to make sure they are following up with the families after they give them the device so that they can make sure it is still working for them. If it is not working, then part of our job is to change the device and make sure to find another device that works for them. So again, there's the 7 steps of the assessment process. The first one is referral. So you need to be referred to the agency. They will then do a case history, so they will ask you a bunch of questions about the child or youth's life before trying to do an augmentative device. Then they will ask a bunch of questions to go along with the case history. They will evaluate those answers and try and fit the best device for the child or youth, and then they will try and secure funding, because that is how these devices get paid. The families don't pay for them, it is funded through the government. And does it work? So I have also interviewed a mother of a son who has cerebral palsy. He has used these augmentative devices when he was in elementary school and part of high school. She mentioned how it took a lot of work for her son to learn the devices and to learn the software, but he did learn it with practice and through the support of the team that they were able to give them during this process. She said that it really increased his independence, and he enjoyed being able to say his opinions by the use of words instead of just trying to get his message across by using his body language. So this is a graph showing what support families are wanting to see. So families have completed the survey talking about the different supports that they would like to see more of during the process of learning about the devices. The information that came from this survey can be seen in Figure 1. The most important thing that families want to see is supporting the child's journey. As mentioned earlier, I said that we need to support the families throughout the whole process and not just leave them and not support them after we do the assessment and give them a device. The next biggest concern that families had was helping to customize the device for each child. Customizing the device is easy to do. It allows them to make this device their own and giving them control over something where they normally wouldn't have control over. So conclusion and recommendation. So in conclusion, there are barriers that family and children or youth go through in the beginning stages of this process. The children and youth have the ability to overcome these barriers with the help and support by our staff and their families. It also helps for the family to be willing to learn, because if the family is not willing to learn, that will cause a deterrent for the child or youth, and they won't want to learn either. Families may become deterrent due to the assessment process and how long it can take, but it takes the support from their team to help keep them motivated about this product and device. Our staff can help keep this motivation up by being there for the family when they have questions and giving them the proper training on the devices. My recommendation is that augmentative devices, specifically computers or iPads or tablets, are excellent devices to use. They are an asset to the children and youth that we are trying to help, as it increases their independence and gives them a voice out in the community. And there's my references. Thank you.